Let me tell you a tale of legend from another realm, another age. A great evil threatened the land, a dark sorcerer, preparing to unleash the forces of hell against any that stood in his way. Desperate, the good peoples of the land searched every corner, every race, to choose their champions to send against the evil one. Those three would have to forget their differences and work together as a team. They would have to delve to the very bottom of the sorcerer's dungeon, battling hordes of monsters every step of the way. Only then could they stand united and defeat their ultimate enemy. The fate of the surface world rested on their shoulders. This is their story.
Welcome to Dungeon Bash. Let's go through the basics of play. In this game, you control a team of 3 characters, randomly selected from a list of over 30 playable creatures. Every game, your team is radically different. Right now, every creature looks like an elf, troll, wolf, or demon. The game knows over 80 different creatures, but currently we only have those 4 to display, and that's why we need your help. We want Dungeon Bash to look and sound as good as it plays. We're going to need many more creature animations. We want to make differently themed levels, and we want to make better looking graphics to replace the really average ones that the programmers have put in place. Okay then, by clicking on the I tab over here and then on a dungeon space, you can see what's there, what kind of monster and what items are at that location. The tab pane will show the name, health, and a portrait image of the creature you are looking at. Right now you only see a troll portrait. Your team of 3 drops into a dungeon level 1 at a time, and they leave the same way. One can't arrive until the previous one has vacated the landing spot. You can tell which creatures are in the team because they have a faint highlight. Every creature gets a turn depending on their speed. Faster creatures get their turns more often than slower ones. On their turn, a creature can either move, perform a melee attack, do a ranged attack with a missile weapon or magic wand, or activate an ability or a magical device. The blue abilities tab shows all the items and abilities the focus character can use on its turn, and it's this tab you'll be using most. You can swipe up or down to scroll the list, and left or right to switch tabs. It's really quick and easy. To move, simply swipe in the direction you want the character to go. Melee attacks are made by moving directly into a monster, like this. Here's a tip. Monsters always prefer to melee attack characters that are immediately north, south, east or west of them. If you coordinate your team right, this allows a low-risk flank attack from a diagonal direction. Ranged attacks have a target symbol next to them. Highlight which ranged attack you want to use and click on the target like this. Lastly, some things like potions, orbs, and also abilities don't require targeting. You just click on them and they activate, like this. Managing your inventory is important. A character can only carry 10 physical items. A character can only wield 1 melee weapon at a time. A character can only wear 1 defensive item like armor or a shield. Lastly, a character can only wear 1 amulet at a time. Click on a weapon, defensive item or amulet to equip that one and it becomes highlighted. When you do wear an amulet, you can see what effect it has in the effects tab here. It also shows temporary effects on the character, both good or bad, such as poison and extra speed. One last thing which needs explaining is leader mode. When monsters are around, you will want to control each team member individually, but when there are no monsters visible, you'll see this button becomes enabled. When pressed, the current character becomes the leader and the other team members will follow wherever it goes. This makes trekking through empty areas a lot easier. If a monster does pop up, the game automatically drops back to individual control. You won't get ambushed. And that's all you need to know to get started with Dungeon Bash. Of course, there are a lot more things to learn. The strengths and weaknesses of each creature in the game, what each of the 120 or so items and abilities actually do. One example, a Hornet, a weak creature that only does 1 point of damage, but it's fast and it has a high defensive skill, so it's hard to hit and hard to run from. Slow characters with poor attack skill, like a Troll, have real trouble dealing with Hornets, regardless of size or strength, particularly if they meet a swarm of Hornets. Yes, some creatures like Hornets or zombies can travel in swarms, but an elf with a bow and a high attack skill can pick them off before things get out of hand. A wizard with a burst effect wand can take out a swarm in one shot. But learning all that for yourself is part of the fun. With Dungeon Bash, there's always another tricky tactical situation just around the corner. So that's Dungeon Bash. We definitely will release this game. The programming is already done, but we want this game to look gorgeous. And that's where you come in. The more money we can raise, the better this game will end up looking, and the faster we can get it to market. Even if you can't afford to contribute to the funding effort, please take a moment to share this website far and wide. If you want to see more great cheap games out there by small independents, social networking is a must. Independents live and die by that kind of publicity. Please, please share and like. We are so grateful for anything you guys can do to help get Dungeon Bash out there and in people's hands. Thank you so, so much.